So yeah, look forward to those. All right. And lastly, before we go into our movie box office recap, let's talk crowdfunds. Let's see where we are today. Oh, look at this. Through December 31st, create a bundle of 4 more in-stock items and save 15% on your total purchase. Here we go. All right, over at super7.com, click on the mothership. Again, not front and center. Let's see where we're at. We are currently at 1433. I believe that's up about 200 from last week. Weren't we at like 12 something last week? We have 28 days to go. We'll see. We will see. Since we talked about the mothership last week, it was a mothership, and then did we cover the Big Bad Toy Store sale? I don't remember, but a lot of people started making videos about is Super 7 in trouble. Just to give my 2 cents on that sentiment. I wouldn't say they're in trouble because their items are on sale or like super clearance on other sites. They're obviously doing a sale here on their website, which I don't think I've seen them do before. I could be wrong, much like NECA. They're doing a sale on their website, 15% off. I don't think other third-party companies doing sales reflects anything bad on Super 7 necessarily. Think about Target. Because items that we purchase from Hasbro at Target are on sale, doesn't mean the entire company of Hasbro is in a clearance stage. I don't think it's the same thing. Now, do I think overall Super 7's in trouble? Outside of that, debatable. Mainly because of this mothership. This mothership is one of those where I'm like, why are you pushing this so close to Cat Slayer? And Cat Slayer barely made tier 2. That part is sketch to me. I don't think the clearance sales at other third-party sites is the flag. LeBron says Super 7 is on Hasbro Pulse, so they should be okay. Agreed. Listening to the Hasbro earnings call a couple weeks ago, which Legacy of Nerd and I are going to talk about, he said, he being the CEO, he said, any company that is not going to be sale heavy, like discount heavy this holiday season, is going to F themselves. Paraphrasing. He says, everybody is going to do sales. This is not going to be like 2020, what was that? 2021, I want to say, was a year where there wasn't a lot of sales going on. But he said, this is the year where there's going to be a lot of sales this holiday season. Anybody predicting crazy numbers, like crazy predictions, either could see the future or they're absolutely crazy. Like this holiday season is going to be rough for a lot of retailers. So Super 7 doing a 15% off. Good move to be doing a discount. I don't think it's heavy enough. Other side of that coin, if you, much like Hasbro, once you open the door to becoming a company that does sales, people will begin to wait for sales. I think you have to either do like no sales or just expect that people are going to want sales all the time. And I think Super 7 for the longest was like no sales. Like you're paying for like this premium product, just like NECA. NECA never goes on sale at like Walmart, at Target. And if they do, it's like that thing has been there for like damn near years. And then it finally goes on sale for like $5 off, $10 off. I'm immediately thinking the one clearance thing I think we all see at Walmart is the android from Alien, the first movie, blue jumpsuit. He's on sale. Pretty much at every Walmart I go to. Everything else, it just sits there. So NECA Super 7, not known for sales. This year, it's probably going to change. Probably going to change. Dave says a company doing a sale could simply mean they are doing well and giving something back to the fans, or it's a way to entice spark sales before the holidays. That said, I've never bought Super 7. I disagree with the first point, unless it's like a small business, right? I don't think any of these toy companies at the moment can afford to do something out of the kindness of their heart. Everything's got to be a good financial move. That actually takes me to another thought. I watched, oh my God, there was this dude, I came across his video, and he was commenting on, I think he was commenting on Mad Hatter's Super 7 video. I could be wrong. I think that's what it was. And no, sorry. He was commenting on, was Retro Blasting. He was commenting on Retro Blasting's video. Now, a lot of people out there have brought up this idea that toy companies are suffering because they're not doing a lot of marketing towards kids. Retro Blasting mentioned that. I feel like T3, maybe you mentioned that. I could be wrong. So many people have been talking about it, and I love the topic. But the overall idea was that not a lot of companies are marketing these toys to kids. I agree with the idea. However, I also think, and I think this is what the guy was saying too, kids aren't into toys like that anymore. It's just not a thing. In my opinion, these companies should really start to understand, and there was that news article like a year ago. The companies need to understand the toys are being bought by the older collector. No longer is there an 8-year-old telling his mom, his dad, hey, I want Cobra Mothership. Please, I love G.I. Joe. Ain't happening. All the legacy IPs, they are landlocked between a demographic of maybe 25 to like 60. And as we start to get older, these companies are not backfilling like they want to. The younger kids are not getting into these series based on new things. Younger people are getting into these series, into these IPs via the older demographic, that group that's aging at the moment. Think Star Wars. As much as Disney and these people want to say Star Wars is a kid's franchise, what Star Wars is on TV right now or on YouTube right now that a kid is just watching on their iPad? Is like, hey mom, hey dad, load up this cartoon or whatever on TV. Not a thing. It's that older demographic that's keeping the franchise going via buying merchandise, via buying the movies, via buying DVDs. That it is what it is. I think these companies really need to say, F it. The younger kids, trying to get them like out the gate ain't gonna happen. Let's do what we need to do to keep that older demographic in the IP, and then they can be the influencer in their household to the younger person to get them into the franchise. I don't think that's too wild of a take, but you guys may disagree. I would love to hear it. I also was talking on Legacy's stream last night how kids these days are fine with the more mature type content. Stranger Things. Stranger Things is the new gold standard for me. You can have a show where kids, like children, are the main characters, but there's death, it's gruesome, there's more mature like topics. You can do that now. Stranger Things has opened that door. And I think a lot of these franchises need to start following suit. Maybe not, like, G.I. Joe doesn't need to be bloody. Like, I'm not saying G.I. Joe needs, like, people getting decapitated and stuff. But you could start pushing that line now. Like, it's okay. And if you want to have another show that's, like, more for kids, fine. But the main flagship for every IP that they're like, oh, this is for kids, Power Rangers especially. I don't know any parent who says their kid watches Power Rangers on their own without the parent introducing them, watching it with them, and then the kid gets into it. I could be wrong. But I don't know any parent who's like, oh, I love Bluey, so I got my kid into Bluey. Not how that works. Dre says sales are necessary because there has been a rough financial year for everyone. Yes. Big Bad has rotating weekly sales. Yes. It's just that Super 7 is not routinely on sale from those companies. On Amazon, it's on sale, but not those companies. The average consumer is not able to spend like they used to because of the economy. Yep. Cutthroat says, I agree this crowdfunding after the Thundercats layer was too much. That's why I feel this Cobra Mothership will have a hard time to fund. Kenobi says, yeah, it's a hard thing to balance. Otherwise, people will definitely just expect the sale. Yep. Yeah. There you go. Patrick says, I got a little nephew who's 5, has an amazing toy chest, and physically loves playing and making up stories. At the same time, he's the only kid I know like that. Exactly. And Legacy and I will talk about it on, when we talk the Hasbro thing. But Hasbro's big moneymaker right now is digital content. It is Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons, Baldur's Gate. That's their main revenue right now. Like, going forward, that's just the nature of the game. It's all about digital content. And the toys are more and more as things get expensive, as the cost of oil gets more expensive, which you use oil to make plastic. These companies are going to start realizing, like, we got to figure out how do we get more revenue with less spend, with less operating costs, and not running a factory printing toys can really benefit the books at the end of the day. T3 says, when I go to Target or Walmart, I see more adults in the toy aisle than kids. Literally thought that this weekend. Dre says, I have 2 kids that are 18 and 14 who are into some of the IPs I am because I show interest and bring them in. My youngest is still too young, 3, to get into the IPs, but she sees me watching. Yep. LeBron says the same. LeBron says, my daughter was 4 when we met and she was already into PR. It was one of the first things we bonded about. All right, there you go. T3, the Goonies back in the 80s was made for kids, but was more mature. Exactly. Yeah. So rolling into Hasbro, we'll go to their haslab, see where they're at today, especially after the trailer dropped. They're at 13,786. So I think they were around 12,000 last week. So a week ago, they were at 12,002. Today, 13,786. There you go. So almost a 2,000 increase. Something else to note when it comes to HasLabs, I made this picture the other day. A lot of people, every crowdfund, HasLabs specifically, not crowdfund, but HasLabs specifically, people start to get nervous that like all the tiers won't unlock or that it won't back at all. And I want to show a picture of the kind of rush that we can get from time to time with these HasLabs. So on the left column, Sup Duff Man, good to see ya. A truffle shuffle. Maybe at 1 million subscribers, I'll truffle shuffle. On the left side of the screen, you have your 1 week out where these HasLabs were. On the right side of the screen, where they finished. Top one, you have Giant Man. Giant Man, again, for record, I believed was going to back. I thought it was a low enough price point. People started debating whether it would back or not. It went from 6,118 on the 1 week out to finishing at 13,889. Down below, we have the Ghosts, one of the fastest backing haslabs, I believe. The Ghost went from 11,116 1 week out all the way up to 21,768 on the final week. I think the Ghost was FOMO in its purest form, if I'm to be honest. FOMO in its absolute purest form. I don't think we see that kind of number again on a HasLab that expensive in a long time. So if I'm Hasbro going forward, we're keeping these HasLabs sub 300. 300's your cap. But we'll see. These companies get greedy. They get greedy. But right now we're at 13,786, 28 days to go. Actually, I was over at Super 7's Instagram, and we had talked about this last week, and somebody else had mentioned it, where this or the Ghostbusters HasLab to go with the Proton Pack. Next comment. Not finished paying Cat's Lair yet. We just talked about that. But then I really want this to happen, but it should have been money-based tiers instead of amount of backers-based tiers. You guys want a minimum of 4K backers, and only 2K people have even liked the main post. There was that, and did I not screenshot it? Oh, I must have not. Somebody else said the same thing we said, where they think the HasLab might be hurting the mothership. So we're not the only ones that think that. We're definitely not the only ones that think that. Either way, HasLab already backed. I kind of want to do, as far as Ghostbusters content, I would like to do a reaction to their Q&A session that they did with a couple influencers. And we're going to be doing a live, either myself, Anthony, and Great Scott Prop Shop, or just a combo of one of us with Great Scott, talking about all of the new proton packs and wands and stuff we saw in the trailer for the new movie, and what we think about them. Are we going to do mods, that kind of stuff? So we'll have some of that content coming down the pipe. But either way, I cannot wait to get this in hand. Curious if by the time we get this in hand, these are outdated because of what we see in the movie. But I think they'll still be fun. I did have a moment the other day when I picked up the Spirit PKE meter where I was like, should I just use this and cancel my HasLab? But you know what? I want that HasLab. I want it.